Welcome everybody to R3 Results, how to verbally diffuse violent confrontations. I'm G.A. Bartick, partner of R3 Results, and I'm excited to have you here because I think this time in our world, this time in our life, what we're going to be talking today is essential for you and your organization to have these skills to build confidence, to help your team be more successful in their every single day lives and at the office and at work too. So today we're going to dive into really learning about what are some tools, what are some skills that you could use if you find yourself in the unfortunate situation where you are potentially talking to an employee or a customer, somebody else, and the conversation unfortunately might turn potentially violent. So we also have with me Ken Hatman, my partner, who will be joining us a little bit later to really talk through some of the skills we're going to be teaching. So let's take a look at what we're going to be talking about today. So today it's really all about making sure that we have the right skills to, and really what's the issue at hand? What are we trying to accomplish? What is happening out there? What can we do about it? And then what skills can you use to diffuse a violent confrontation? And then we'll spend a few minutes with Ken Hanman, who's an expert at this, answer some questions that we get from the audience right now. And then we'll talk about some next steps that you can take to really make sure that your team and yourself is ready to handle a situation. So let's really take a look at what's going on right now. You know, Gallup says that 67, yes, over half, of all employees feel at risk for a violent confrontation at work. And it's either a coworker or a customer. It's not just customers. And you know what? The city of Chicago, it paid out $113 million for misconduct lawsuits. All right. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, every single small business each year loses $187,000 due to lack of productivity, due to fear in the workplace. So those are some staggering numbers that we truly go at head on. And really what we do at R3 Results is we teach you the skills and how to deal with these situations so you don't find yourself with some of those staggering numbers happening in your organizations. So what do you have to do about it? There's really three things you have to do about it. Number one, you have to acknowledge that there's a potential issue. When Ken and I go into organizations, what we see all too often is like, oh, that would never happen at my company. Well, folks, you need to acknowledge that, yes, there is a potential issue. Number two is you have to teach the skills. And then finally, you have to sustain the skills. So who are we here at R3 Results? Well, we have over 50 years of training and safety experience. We're best-selling authors. And this process we're teaching, we have a patent on it because it's so different and unique. And it is both online and instructor-led. And this is movie quality stuff. This is not turn on the PowerPoint and have your head go to sleep. Our production team, they've done stuff for Jon Stewart, for NBC, CBS. They even filmed US presidents before. And you can see what some of the organizations say when they work with R3 Results. So really, what do you need to do? It's about having the right process in place. So here's a situation, all right? Let's just say you're at the grocery store. This is not a work situation because, again, what we teach can help you at work and at home too. So there you are at the grocery store, and all of a sudden, by accident, you bump into the cart of a person who was going down the wrong way of the aisle. I don't know about your store, but our store now put arrows in. You only can go one way down the aisle. So you bump into their cart, and then he starts to insult you, calls you names, and gets in your face. All right, what do you do in that situation? Well, we're going to teach what we call the stair-step process. And it's all about having the right process in place so that you can take the variable of that person. We don't know what that other person is going to say, but all we can do is make sure that what we do and how we do it is effective. So the process we teach, it's about having the right process in place, take the variable of the other person, put it into your process, and we can hopefully come up with a predictable conclusion. So let me explain what I mean by that. All right. Can you guys see this right here? Can you see this? Actually, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen real quick. See that right here? See what this is? It's a 3x5 card. Would you all agree here that this 3x5 card is smaller than my face? So it'd be pretty tough to cut a hole in it large enough to put my face there. Would you agree? But if you have the right process in place, along with the right tools, you can quickly, efficiently, and effectively do something that a moment ago looked impossible to do. You can come up with a predictable conclusion. And in this case, what is my predictable conclusion? Yes, folks, it's a 3x5 card with a hole in it that is large enough to put my face through. This is where you give me an ooh and an ah. But let me ask you this, how was I able to do this? A moment ago, it looked impossible to do. I had to have the right process. I had to have the right tools, but more importantly, I had to practice. Why did I have to practice so much? So that I could execute that under pressure in those critical moments that matter most. And so that's what our program does. It's going to give you, your organization, the skills, the abilities, the tools that they need to be able to handle a situation under extreme pressure. And so it's not just about the tools and the processes and the skills, but we also give you the entire process of how do you practice it so that you go from verbal knowledge. That's watching the videos and kind of seeing it, oh yeah, I got it into my mind. How do you move from verbal knowledge to verbal skill? We can actually say it to verbal mastery. We can say the right thing at the right time under extreme pressure. That's what this whole program is all about. So let's dive in back into the situation. So there you are, you're in the grocery store, all right, and what can you do in that situation? All right, we call it the stair-step process. And the stair-step process, step number one, is you want to meet them with equal and neutral force. Don't cower or bully back. No anger, no rage. But you want to meet them with equal force. Whoa, stop. I see you're upset. All right, I can see I can upset you. So what do you do next? All right, you meet them with equal force. Then you show a little bit of empathy. All right, and you know what? You're going to feel fear here. You need to show empathy. And that's why it's so important to practice. How do you show empathy if you haven't practiced it in this situation? So, you know, really what you need to do is you need to feel the fear and show empathy, but protect and help them from serious consequences. And that's what we're talking about. You want to protect and help them from potentially serious consequences. You know what? I did hit your car and I didn't do it to upset you, but I did see that I did. So you take a little bit of responsibility. So you meet it with equal and neutral force. You show some empathy. Then step number three is you direct them. What do I mean by direct them? All right, hey, you stand over there. I'm going to stand over here. Hey, I'm GA. What's your name? Tell me what's going on. All right, so this is really how the three-step stair-step process. I want to bring Ken back in here, if we can, to really talk a little bit about how these steps really are used to be more effective in violent situations. So Ken, what are your thoughts on kind of these three steps in the stair-step process?
Well, what you say is important, but what's even more important is who you are, your inner state of being, what you're feeling when you're facing that fear from that confrontation. And this is something you can actually train and learn. You do it under stress, and that's what we teach, how to do that. Then when you're in control of that, you can focus on the other person. They're having a really bad day. They're not your enemy. You have to view it that way. And then you can have some compassion for them.
All right. So that's really what it's all about. It's about understanding the situation, but being able to control yourself and have that control. And again, that comes from practice and knowing the process inside and out. So what are people saying about who we are, what we do here at R3 Results? All right, well, you know what? We've received high praise from UN negotiators, people who negotiate for a living in highly volatile, highly stressful situations. You know, President Carter's former head of conflict talks about our stuff. And you know what? Colonel Bruce, former USMC, former head of security, has also given us high praise. So really, what is the value proposition? What is it that you need to do? Number one is, hey, will this process help? Yes, it does, to reduce staff turnover. We've seen it over and over again. It improves employee morale. It avoids that aggressor potential. So you can oftentimes stop the situation before it gets out of hand. Also, how do you avoid employee lawsuits or avoid lawsuits due to incompetent or improper conduct? And so that's really what we see our clients tell us over and over again, some of the advantages that they see from this process. Again, the stair-step process we talked about was just one portion of all of the four modules that we have and all the content. And so I want to open it up a little bit to some Q&A here. So we got about, I'm looking at the numbers here, about 780 people here. And several of you have turned to some questions. Let me see what we have here. Question number one is, and Ken, I'll let you handle this. It says, I had a customer make a request that's something I could not fulfill, and their anger escalated quickly, almost into a verbal assault. What could I have done to de-escalate them? Thanks, Alicia from Newark. So what would you do in that situation, Ken? You got somebody and they're a customer, you can't fulfill their request. They're coming after you. What do you do?
Well, again, it's a process that you enunciated there. Start out by, if they're screaming, you can't be quiet. You can't say, oh, excuse me, or you'll be cowering. That'll just cause more of an attack. They go, whoa, you're really upset. I want to listen to you. Tell me more about it. Now, they're used to people not listening. So the fact that you truly, and it has to be genuine, that you want to listen to them, that's going to take it down that first step significantly. Then you have to really listen to them.
So you're saying it's kind of counterintuitive. Instead of kind of being quiet, you want to meet them with equal force is what you're saying.
Right. Otherwise, they'll have, mold over you and they won't stop. So you do have to cause that self-dignity, and you have to feel very centered in yourself. And that's a lot of what we teach, is the physical element of this, how you can identify in yourself your own sort of center of balance. And that makes you able to encounter the whole person that you're meeting with.
So it's not just what you say, but it's how you say it too. It sounds.
Absolutely.
All right, Teams. Question number two. So there I was with my wife and two kids at the beach, and we got back to our car. There was a couple that thought we had done something to the car. What do you do if there are two people and you're with your family? What would you do in that situation, Ken?
Well, assuming that this person is acting in an angry and enraged way at you, I would stand between my family and them, and then I would, ask them what happened. I mean, you feel that I dented your car. Was my car here when you got here? Was my car not here when you got there? And if they're getting too outrageous, you want to make them aware of consequences. So you might say, look, we may have to call the police and get them to mediate this matter. Hopefully you don't want to get there. But by making them aware of that consequence, they may not have even considered that. Suddenly, that may calm them down.
Okay, so it's about really understanding, getting your family out of harm's way, but then meeting them kind of where they're at to back them down, using that stair-step process, but then also sharing with them what the potential natural consequences are moving forward.
Yes.
All right, very, very cool. So that is just some of the different tools that we're going to be teaching in our program here. And so really want to think about, hey, what can you do to bring this content for yourself or your organization? So right now, the first 45 people that step up, you know what, we're going to give them a $50 off our usual price. So it's $25 per participant, all right, for the online training. All right, so if you are one of the first 45 people that contact us at getresults@r3results.com, we are happy to put you through this program, get you access to the video content, the workbook content. And again, we said this is both instructor-led and or video. We believe that we've got to have somebody on site, or we're going to do a train the trainer to train one of your associates, because what we call deputize them, so that they have the skills to make this part of your organization's DNA. Again, what's this going to do for you and your organization? It's going to give them the tools the skills, the courage. And think about that. If they have those three things, are they going to feel more confident? Are they going to be able to handle difficult situations more effectively? Absolutely. The companies we work with over and over and over again tell us that's the results they get. So again, I'm G.A. Bartick. On behalf of myself, the entire organization here at R3 Results, we really appreciate you taking the time and really putting some thought into, hey, how can I make sure that I protect myself, my family, my organization, and our community from potentially volatile situations? So we look forward to hearing from you. Hope you all have a great day.